Good evening, traders. Sunday night, I believe this is the 27th of June. This is MR Strategies. I am Mike Rabinowitz, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a heads up for this week. Also, I'm thinking of providing you guys with a couple live trading sessions so you guys can maybe try and really get an idea of how to take advantage of what I'm trying to teach here and to take advantage of the locations and to trade from them. And so I'm going to maybe come on. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it tomorrow. So a couple times this week, I want to do it twice. I'm going to come on around 8. I'm gonna brief you guys, give you an idea of how to play it, much of like what I do right now in terms of what to be prepared for in terms of tomorrow's session. And all we can do is really wait until the opening bell to see how this plays out. I don't know what Europe's going to do more often than not. You know, you're in a bull trend, extreme acceleration phase. I mean, this thing is just going and it's not stopping and it's not even retracing, making higher highs, higher lows. It's had very, very few retracements. In fact, there is a fairly significant gap from around, I think, 42.53 down to about 33, and you can see we're well above it. Gaps get filled, but right now this market's kind of really on autopilot to the upside. I talked to you about this last week, guys, and I said keep an eye on a Dow. I said a Dow it gets above 34.1, 34.2. It's a breakout, and you can see that right here. This is where that trend line came in, and they took all those out. So now you got all three markets, even oil. I mean, this is so bullish. Everybody is well above their daily MAs. So, you're in thin air up here. And, obviously we want to take advantage of the long opportunities, but you got to be smart about it. And you want, like I've always said, you want them from the value areas. What that value area is, I don't know. And when you're in the bull trend acceleration phase, it's usually somewhere around the pivots or your moving averages, and we're sitting underneath them now. It's overnight. I don't put anything into the overnight sessions. I let it go. I got a trend line coming in right here, but I just don't know if this is going to be relevant for tomorrow morning. Let's take a look um, and see how this would set up if the market holds price. This is the opening right here, and this would be the closing, give or take. So this is your range for tomorrow right here, this area. So this trend line comes in all the way up here around 75. So I just don't know if it's going to be relevant. But the pivot is always key. And if in the bull trend in acceleration, you want to get those locations. I don't know if they're going to leak this overnight, and the harder they do, the better the odds of the market recovering in the morning and them taking them back up. At this stage, the way this thing is setting up, and I think the Dow is lagging a little bit here. Obviously, the Nasdaq and the ES is making contract highs, and the Dow is still off theirs, 35,000. So, and I gotta believe now that we've gotten over all the resistance, that's what they're setting up, and you're looking, we're at 34.3. Let's just call it 34.4. Another 600 points would be about 60 handles in the ES. So if that were to take place and the Dow were to take off, and ES is obviously accelerating as well, you're looking at probably about 43.20 would be a high up in that area. And, I think when you're getting these phases right here, you could take really good advantage of like overbought conditions, especially if they shoot them up and they gap higher. There's going to be retracements. It's going to be hard to get people to get on board and buy them at these, although it's pretty much held its own all week, and they just keep going higher, not giving you much. I mean, This is Friday session right here. I mean, these ranges have been really tight. 62 to, well, it was basically nothing up until the end of the day when they marked them up and made the contract high. And then you can see this session right here was Thursday session, and they barely gave you, a 10 handle range. So, I mean, and this market's it's just jacked to the upside. So, be smart about your entries. You know, uh, you know, ideally you want to buy the pullbacks with confirmation, but you never want to get caught up in a hard turn that might be fueling even greater profit taking. But right now the market just seems to be so poised. They're just getting nothing but strong information all the way across the board. And, you got this deal with the infrastructure situation, which is extremely bullish. But then you have the slight cloud of the Fed tightening, and they're talking in a couple of years. I mean, will the market factor that in sooner? Most likely, yeah. So those are your two, scenarios right there. You have the bullish infrastructure situation, and then you have to deal with the markets, the Fed starting to tighten monetary policy and probably squeezing rates a little bit and jacking them up a little bit, and that's obviously going to have a bearish effect on the markets. But until then, you got to ride the bull, but you got to be smart about the hard run-ups and take advantage of those reversal locations up there. Um, and that's usually how I always play it. I'm not going to get caught up in a runaway train. It's always about confirmation. So, if they jack them up and they gap them up higher, you know, you got to look for anywhere around R1, which is pretty close to the contract high. And, if they give you a reversal at that stage in tomorrow morning, then you take it, and see how that plays out. But obviously, there's the levels are relatively close to each other. I mean, there's only seven handles, eight handles that is between R1 and R2, and there's 10 handles. I mean, man, we can get to R3 tomorrow like nobody's business, and I think that is probably the objective, is going to get to 4,300 and above, and then I think it's thin air, and then I think you got to be smart about you know, taking the long side of trades. You're going to get yourself caught up. But let like I've always said over and over again, let the market prove what they want to do. My analysis, my opinion is meaningless. It's at the end of the day, you trade the facts and what's in front of you. And which are in a great bull trend, but you don't want to just chase it to chase it. And I say that a lot as well. Look for, I mean, you can see everything, all these markets well above their MAs, and is really, really bullish. So, until we come down to these levels, you know, and the market's going to tell us something from there, we'll deal with that. But right now, it's accelerating and it's taking off. So we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. Let's see where they're at, and I'm going to try and come out early and go live with you guys so you can really see what I'm really doing and see the validity of my analysis and how it plays out with your actual trading. And we're going to keep it simple. I tend to leverage more from some of these locations. I think what I want to show you traders is how you can really trade small but wisely from these locations and take really great advantage of it and chip away into a great trading day every day and be consistent with it and put together really nice weeks. So this is the Sunday night analysis. Um, you could take a look at this Dow chart right here. We have nothing until about 34.2, and that was the breakout right there, guys. That's where that's 34.2 is coming in right about. A little higher, give or take. This trend line might be off a little bit, but you can see these MAs are all down here, and that was the big breakout. You can see the Dow had that big sell-off. We got that little sell-off as well, and the market held actually this is the 100 it made down here, and that goes to show you once again the significance of the moving averages and what it means to the big traders and to the portfolios. And this was the big call right here. This is, what are we going to do? Are we going into a bear trend? Are we going to go into it, not a bear trend but a correction? and they halted it, and then obviously they were leading into all the announcements that were coming out, and with Biden and Powell talking, and just fuel the market that much more. So, you want to ride this, guys. Be smart, play the pullbacks, and let's just see how this plays out tomorrow. So I hope you guys have been doing well. I hope you're trading successfully. I hope you like what I'm showing. I hope this really makes sense to you guys and you really like to take it to another level. All right. Have a great night. I'll talk to you guys during the week. Pay attention for the possible live trading sessions a couple times this week. Good night.